I'd like to introduce you to my new pet. This is a split spindle by Will Cruikshank from his exhibition at the Fold Gallery in London. The exhibition's called Silos. And this pet answers all my problems with feeding my cat and dog on vegan food, because I cannot bring myself to kill one beautiful furry animal in order to feed another beautiful furry animal. So it seems to me that one of the answers to this problem could be to buy a furry sculpture like this, which needs no feeding. But seriously, I've written an article on my website about feeding our dogs and cats on vegan food. I firmly believe that we should be feeding our animals on raw food, the same as we should be feeding ourselves on raw food. There's no earthly point in cooking food and eating it, because by cooking it you destroy all the enzymes, and enzymes are the currency, the energy currency of the body. So for a cat would normally go out and catch a rabbit and eat the whole lot, probably while it was still wriggling. A dog is likely to do something similar, but is much more likely to scavenge. So dogs are much more adaptable. They are by nature scavengers, so they can adapt and eat virtually anything and survive and actually thrive. So I know a lot of people who have vegan dogs, and several people actually who have raw vegan dogs. Now, to me, that is the answer: to feed raw food to your dog, potentially to your cat. So raw living food is the ultimate, which involves sprouted seeds and grains and nuts that have been germinated, in other words soaked, to get rid of the enzyme inhibitors that are in the skin. So I eat those, and I also feed those to my cat. My cat actually really enjoys soaked and germinated and then dehydrated pistachio nuts particularly, so he can have a whole meal of those and be perfectly happy and not want anything else. But most of the time I feed him on raw minced up meat, which slightly breaks my heart, because I know that another animal has been slaughtered in order to feed my pet, and this just seems unethical. So I think for a start we can move into feeding our dogs on vegan food. I think that that's perfectly acceptable, perfectly reasonable thing to do, as they can do very well on a vegan diet. I've seen plenty of them. I'm not really into feeding processed food, but for those of you who want to feed processed food, then there are lots of vegan processed food alternatives. Benevaux is one that I've used, and I sometimes give those biscuits to my cat because he quite enjoys a crunch once in a while, just maybe as a treat, but that seems to be a good option. They also do a wet food for cats and dogs, and they do dried food for dogs. There are loads of different options actually for you to explore, but certainly I'm looking into the creation of vegan dog food, because I really think that's the way forward: raw vegan dog food. So for a dog then, you can make the same raw meals that you'd make for yourself. So I make myself salads consisting mostly of sprouted seeds and grains and sunflower greens and pea greens, and the key thing is to make a really nice dressing. So I make a dressing using blended soaked nuts or seeds or something like that, which is quite protein rich, and just give more of that to the dog than I do to myself, and mix that with some sprouts, and she actually really quite enjoys that. So that is definitely a way forwards, and I think that is a way that we can move towards. Because from an ethical point of view, it's unethical to kill one furry animal to feed our own furry animals. And from a planetary point of view, it's absolutely unsustainable to continue with commercial animal agriculture. It's destroying the planet, and actually we're destroying ourselves by consuming that ourselves. But that's different for our carnivorous pets. But I think we need to move in that direction. Using a supplement like Pet Plus to make sure that we're not missing out on anything is very important as well, and obviously giving clean water. And I think that is a way forward, a perfectly sustainable way forward for looking after our carnivorous pets. Obviously, if you're at the beginning of your journey of having a pet and you want it to be vegan, obviously get a rabbit or a guinea pig or a rat or a horse, or preferably several of them, because herbivores are normally herd animals. They don't normally like to live particularly well on their own. They like to live in groups because they're preyed on by carnivores, and so they have one watching to check that everything's safe while the rest of them are eating, and they take it in turns. They're very clever creatures. So I hope that helps you with your dilemma. Do have a look on the website. There's an article discussing this very thing. Richard Pitcairn wrote some very interesting information about this, and I have several books on there that you can have a look at. I recommend them to have a look at. Also, there are lots of vegan, I was going to call them cookbooks, raw vegan food preparation books for humans, and you can use those recipes and just increase the protein content of them by increasing the nuts or the chia seeds or whatever in the food, and that will give enough protein for your dog.